So we just did rings today, ring design. So today was a fun day in between doing some different things, and we were able to do some of the ring design. So today was pretty cool.
Are you going to kind of follow the same, as much as possible, the same script in terms of like the first pitches? I know it's all like, the White House, that's up to them. But,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, similar to what you did last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, hopefully, Alex was expected to throw out a pitch with the Red Sox. He's a Boston guy or a Massachusetts guy. So I think a lot of those same things we'll end up doing, following a similar script.
You feel now the portal's closed and it seems like you've got your roster outside of Alex.
Yeah.
So feel almost you can now move forward.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think the Alex the Alex situation's just a total win-win. In terms of what happens with AK that way. So you lay some groundwork potentially. With that situation, in case Alex does end up going. So you obviously have some contingencies that you prepare for that way. But I think that the rest of what we've done is similar to what we've done the last 2 years, probably more similar to last year. We're banking heavily on player development. And then we've gone for strategic maneuvers, based on players that we believe can really come here and thrive and play great. So,
How do you feel about that? Like where you stand with these guys? Like you filled your needs and everything?
yeah, well, I just think we bank heavily on player development, on being able to get our freshman players on the court and helping us win games and not just be out there, but our freshmen have proven to help us, win championships. And then we've also been, proven that we've been able to take those freshmen that are becoming sophomores, and they've made those big jumps for us. As well as guys like Hassan and Samson, that we believe there's another level for them to get to with another full off season. And then obviously we're betting heavy on Solo Ball and Jalen Stewart and Jaden Ross, as well as the incoming freshmen, that they're going to really be able to, to help what we've added from the portal thus far. And then obviously, again, the Alex, you just prepare for contingencies that way as well.
Dan, you obviously have film on anyone you would recruit, but what is it like to rush and in X amount of time get to know if their personality makeup will fit here? Yeah,
I think just names, when they go in, we watch a lot of games. And then obviously in Aiden's situation, we prepared to play against him intensely, and we've shared a court with him. So we feel like we knew the player pretty well and the talent level. And St. Mary's has such a great program that you end up watching them play. So I think it was important to us, Taris, there's a ton of talent there. There's a ton of physical talent that when we look at players in the portal, we're looking for people that, that hit those thresholds in terms of talent and traits athletically. But then they've got to be our type of people. They have to be people that we think are going to help us win, not necessarily who someone is ranking as the best transfer, the best transfer in the country, with all due respect, whoever these people are, rated by outside entities, don't measure up to who we think we could win championships with.
So is some of it a roll of the dice, though? Because you won't truly know what kind of worker a kid is until you're working with him. You know what I mean?
Well, I think with the way that we kind of handle an official visit, and the way that goes, it's as much as a player and a family is evaluating the situation for them. We also spend a great deal of time. The things that we talk about on the visit, I think, lead us to the right place with players. The NIL is not something that we're leading with. It's something that is if it's at the forefront of the people that we're recruiting, if it's at the forefront and if it's the driver, then that's going to be a problem for us here with what we're trying to do. We're about, do you fit in our culture? What type of competitor are you? Are you about championships? Do you believe that you're going to develop here and become an NBA player? And then we'll get to those types of things. So I think the way that we're landing our players gives us confidence that we have a chance to keep doing what we're doing, both the transfers, and guys like Liam.
Yeah, and putting teams together this year in one season, and I remember a couple of years ago you were kind of lamented that you have to do it that way. But it's completely the opposite of what you were about before, that you've been able to do it. So
Yeah.
how do you enjoy it now? Do you enjoy that challenge? Or?
Well, I think where we've been an outlier. 2 years ago, we obviously, you bring in Tristan, and then obviously some guys that came off the bench for that team, and then last year there was only one portal player. This year it's two portal players, and then a lot of homegrown players that we're banking on. And then, people that we've recruited for a long time, Ahmad Noel and Isaiah. So we're not trying to, we're not bringing in 7 players from the portal and throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. We're strategic that way. Our program is going to return. It was very important to us that we've kept all the players that were returning here. We were very cognizant of that with not recruiting too much. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of competition for roles, but we really believe in the young players that we have in the program and that we've recruited, that we want them to get on the court and play. Solo ball, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross, Youssef. We're going to return 4 members of one of the best recruiting classes in the country. In this year's recruiting class with the 3 freshmen, it's a top class. We believe that these guys are very talented. They're gonna keep together the winning the championships and losing so many people that were part of that. We would have lost the advantage of having members of a championship organization if we would have taken 3 or 4 portal kids and now everyone transfers out. We'd be starting over.
Did you have to convince those guys? I mean, you shouldn't have to because you won a championship. That's why they didn't play. That's what you had.
Yeah.
But did you have to convince those guys, hey, stick with it?
Yeah.
This was your learning year. Next year you're going to play.
Yeah, I mean, if those guys were on last year's team, they would have played. They would have had much bigger roles. If they were on the years prior, they would have been much more significant players. It's just, last year they were on a situation where it was the most efficient basketball team, offense, defense, and the level that we played at, one of the most efficient, best teams in the last 25 years that have played college basketball that they couldn't crack the rotation on. So, or at times, solo ball, maybe our biggest non-conference win of the year, he was a critical player in the Carolina game. One of our biggest victories in the Big East season, Jalen Stewart, played huge for us down the stretch of that Marquette game at the Garden. So these guys displayed for us. And then, going into the season last year, Jaden Ross was kind of one of the names we talked about, and NBA teams are asking you about when practices are over. So I spoke to you guys throughout the season about not wanting them to leave. I spoke through you guys. Our staff reached out for their families and let them know. And then we met with the players a bunch about not wanting them to leave. And we want them to be, great players are one uniform guys. The greatest players, they wear one uniform in college. So we want those guys to be one uniform guys.
Do you have an idea in terms of a time frame with Alex? I mean, I know he's got to like mid-June, I think, but do you anticipate him making a decision maybe after the combine or something like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, Alex has earned as much time as he needs. I hope he doesn't go as long as Andre. That one. I think I was going to a wedding in June, and I got the final call. I think for my brother's daughter's wedding in Cali. So I think Alex's will be, sometime after the combine. I know, he'll have a workout or two prior to, and I think, with Alex's situation, I think that NBA, at some point, that NBA is going to be, does the NBA really want you? Because I don't, Alex, I think, is a really smart guy, and him and his family, I think it's a pretty cut and dry, situation for him.
And if he does go, obviously you'd have 2 open scholarships. I mean, I assume you'd fill at least one of them, is that?
Yeah, I don't think we're dying to get to 13. Just to get to 13, if something is too good to pass up in terms of a developmental player, we'll go there. But there'll be there's no more minutes on this team. This is going to be an incredibly, deep and talented team. Maybe a little bit young, but the talent is going to be impressive together out there, especially with the youth of it. But with Alex, you prepare for some contingencies.
So that would be maybe a guy who's willing to come in as a backup role type of thing, or?
Just, maybe some foremen that you're just aware of, but, we just feel great about some of these young guys are going to finally get a chance. Or we just, we just recruited them, and, we feel like they're ready to go right away.
What's the schedule look as far as working out? I mean, they're in finals now and everything, but just kind of going forward the next month.
Yeah,
or so.
they're on their own. The NCAA doesn't let us do anything with them this time of year. And then we just start preparing for, June, that first week of June, we get back together, and now we start practicing like the Big East tournament is around the corner. So, we get the 4 hours a week on the court. I'd prefer to have 6 or 8. We should have 6 or 8 hours on the court with these guys during the summer instead of the 4. But then they get the 4 more in the weight room. So, yeah, I know we're dying to get started with these guys.
You
Is
mentioned-
Jalen poised to be a star this coming season?
Yeah, I think Jalen and Solo have a chance to make a huge jump, like you've seen the freshmen to sophomores make for us. You look at some players we've had that have made those huge jumps. I think we expect that. I think they expect that. And again, they had moments this year where they flashed, big time ability for us. So, we're projecting what they're going to be, next November, and we've seen it on a daily basis. And then I see a guy like Jay Ross, who he was. It was gut-wrenching decisions based on who was in the rotation this year. Their talent across the board is impressive. That's why we valued them the way we did, with only adding what we felt we absolutely needed to add.
And you mentioned there'd be some intense competition at some of those spots. You see a guy like Liam coming in and right off the bat, and even, Taris and Sampson battling it out at center, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think our competition is just going to be the best it's been, and that it's all these guys are going to get an opportunity to play, but the competition is going to be it's going to be the best I think it's been overall, and that's saying something here. But yeah, I think Liam is just the pedigree, in a lot of similarities to Steph from a pedigree standpoint, the USA Basketball, the McDonald's, obviously the Monteverde or Monteverde, Oregon, screw those up sometimes there. But yeah, he's coming in here advanced, advanced maturity, the pedigree not only there with Monteverde, but also the family there, generations of basketball players. Just it prepares you differently, and then the positional versatility of all these players too. Just the situations and the excitement of being able to put on the wing guys like Liam and Jalen and Jaden Ross, and potentially Alex or Isaiah or Solo Ball. Just having interchangeable players out there on the perimeter because of our style of play is pretty interchangeable. It's exciting.
A lot of the new guys coming in, how do you go about building the team chemistry with the young guys and the new guys, because there's not a lot of vets?
Yeah, I think we're. I think the reason why people pick us and the reason why people come here is why our chemistry and culture is so strong. Again, we're not leading with the NIL. We're leading with our program and pursuing championships, and then the value that that's going to bring to your career in terms of where you can take it. So, and then the things that we do together, the amount of time that we're going to spend together this summer is the special sauce for us. The practices, the barbecues, the softball game, which I am the dominant player in 3 years in a row there.
Reigning MVP.
How confident are you that the group you have right now, let's say without Alex for a moment, can execute the kind of stuff that you guys ran last year that was so impressive?
Yeah.
Can this group grasp that and execute at that kind of level?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have to maybe dial it down and think about these different things?
No, I mean, right now, we feel like what we've put together is exactly what we imagined it would look like. So, but last summer, until we started going and seeing how good Cam was and Steph's maturity and Samson and Haas taking a big jump, I mean, we didn't really know what we had until last summer, knowing we had a chance. And then we got to November, December and said, wow, this really has a chance to be special. But, remember, we got smacked in a half by Virginia in late October last year. So, you start seeing the ingredients and realizing you have the talent, but you don't realize what you got until, pretty far down the line. But you got a shot.
Sam, when you recruit with very specific needs in mind, particularly in like the tornado of the portal, how do you develop and maintain contingency plans? Like, just to use Terrace as an example, if he called you after his visit and said, "Coach, thanks, but I'm going to go elsewhere,"
Yeah.
what goes on along that process to make sure that you're going to be able to, I mean, you did it last year with Cam after you pursued someone else.
Yeah, we just think that before we bring somebody on campus, they have to be serious people, and they have to be serious about us. And there has to have been Zooms, enough phone calls and communications where where it's just serious people. We need to bring just serious people in here. Their list of schools, how they've structured visits, how they're handling our conversations. We take that into account before we waste our time or not waste our time with certain types of players. So we never. It's rare that we just felt like when Taras, it's like people go in the portal and then they go in and they say, that feels like a fit for us. There's a lot of names positionally that went in the portal at center that they are not a fit for how we're trying to complement Samson and our type of family, our type of people, work ethic. Just it's people that are either going to fit us or not. There's plenty of transfer portal players that that have a history of not helping their programs max out winning, and that's what we're trying to stay away from for us, because we're really desperate to win.
Yeah,
What
with
was the
Donovan,
conversation
with
like
Donovan, go ahead, Joe.
What was the conversation like with Haas? Obviously, he's the guy that you just talked about being wanting to get back, but obviously you're bringing in, Emmanuel and
Yeah.
some other guards.
Yeah. How, Hassan, it was a challenge. It was a challenge, obviously a leadership challenge now. And then, can you go from sixth man of the year in the Big East to, a true driving force? How much better can you get? How much better can you get with the basketball, with decision-making, as a three-point shooter, as a finisher in the paint, as a facilitator? With the level that Tristan and Cam played at, obviously, we've got to get multiple players in the backcourt. With what we're returning there with Ahmad and Hassan, with Aiden and solo ball, and just those guards, those are big shoes to fill. So you took a big jump between your first year here and your second year here, but how big of a, you need to make another big jump here. So that's the challenge for him.
Can Aiden play point?
Yes, he just the way that for us, I think just the way that we play on offense, I think it gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of we could play 2 point guards together. We could play a combo on the ball. We could play multiple big wings with any of our centers and any type of a primary handler. I think our style of play just lends itself to a lot of versatility at that end.
What do you like about Aiden's game?
The versatility, the similarities. I remember having a very high level of respect for his game, going into that St. Mary's game, sharing the court with him, preparing for him. I don't think he had the sophomore year that was expected of him in terms of how well he played as a freshman. I mean, he was as good as any freshman guard in the country his freshman year. So you're getting a hungry player. You're getting somebody that shares some similarities with Cam, shares some similarities with Tristan. He's got a lot of creativity. It was important for us to get a guard that not only has demonstrated high-level shooting, but also creativity with the ball. And when he visited us and when he experienced the UConn intensity on the visit, how much we love what we do and how hard we get after it here, and he was dying to be a part of it, that told us that this is the type of guy that could come in here and thrive.
Why do you still have Kamani and Luke on this staff? Why haven't other people poached them? I mean, it seems like they're perfect head coach candidates.
I think NIL and portal has impacted like the low to mid-major level and how attractive those coaching positions are because it's tough to build something there. Because of that, obviously, we obviously, from a job security and a financial standpoint, we make it tough for them to leave, and the excellence of where we're at right now. I just think that those guys are so good and so good at what they do that they shouldn't take a bad job, that they should really only be considering upper Atlantic 10 jobs or better. If you're coaching at the best college program in the country, you shouldn't take a mid-major job or that's not elite. So until those happen for them, why would you leave?
How vital are they to you?
I mean, they're essential, those guys and Tom, just to be able to have that continuity. We all know each other so well. We know, we're so in tune with working with each other, and there's such a cohesion. And I mean, these guys are just they're excellent. But it's those guys. We're all just. We know what works for us, and we're very, very like-minded people, and it just, call for 3 people.
Stairway to 7, is that?
I don't know. I don't like
kinda like
anything.
it.
I don't know yet. People have texted me all different stuff. I'm not there yet. We're still trying to figure out, like, the East Regional thing doesn't flow the way Brooklyn to Boston to Phoenix was just like
Was it
that-
Providence to?
to Newark to San Antonio. It's like so now we're like looking at other regions. Do we look for a region that sounds better? I mean, do we? We're trying to figure that part of it out. Maybe we just go in a different direction with that. But we haven't come up with anything yet. We wanted to get the roster set first before we start making any bold proclamations that way. But yeah, we like what we've put together. We feel like our goals aren't going to change, and we think that this from top to bottom is going to be potentially our most talented roster when you go top to bottom. I think it may be a little bit more youthful, but on the positive side, now we get to retain a lot more people than a lot of other programs are retaining. There's a lot more people that are turning over a lot more of their roster than we are, even though we're obviously going to lose 4 starters. But we feel like we do have a lot of continuity that's going to come back, 4, maybe 5.
Did you hear much from like Andre, Jordan, Adama? Like, I can't believe you guys did that again.
There was a group chat, and then there were like individual texts that were going on. Plus, we were calling them during the season and stuff. And then the parents, you know, Craig Hawkins, you know, Jordan's dad, he might have been in Phoenix. And then he's texting you and calling you throughout. And Trish, you know, Trish, Andre's mom, is like going crazy and stuff. And then Adama, you're FaceTiming, you know. And Joey's parents were at MSG in the Big East tournament. You know, after we win it, I look in the crowd, I see Rich. Richie, California is like, you know, courtside for the game. It's, you know, Naheem's family, and hearing from Naheem during the tournament, you know, and Daryl, his dad, just all class, man, all the champs.
Joey admitted he wasn't so sure you guys are going to repeat. He had his doubts
No, I know.
at the beginning of the season.
I know. I hear it right now too. It's all right. All the experts. I mean, we were picked closer to fourth by the coaches last year, and you know, I saw us outside of the top 10 with some prominent people, and then, you know, a lot of folks questioned the talent. You know, even, you know, once we got into non-conference play. So, listen, I get it. Look at what we've lost these last 2 years. Just the amount of incredible people and just great, all-time great UConn players. And now potentially 2 lottery picks, maybe another first rounder, maybe 2 more guys that go second round. But, you know, I think that, you know, you believe in what we've got here. You believe in the staff. You believe in the talent. And just believe that we're going to be able to put it together.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see you summer 1.